Today, we find out if this band will make you say ready, set, go or ready, set, no on Pop Etymology. So, my name is Russell Perkle. This is Pop Etymology, a look at pop music and linguistics at the same time.
And Hannah, I am also on Pop Etymology, a look at linguistics and the American. Would you stop that? I'm sorry. I am also on this podcast.
You are also here.
Yeah.
Both hosts, no co-hosts here, just hosts. And Hannah, what was our song this week?
So the song that we just chose this week is called Love Like Woe by the Ready Set, and it's the first song that came to mind when you first proposed this podcast to me, because it's the song that made me realize maybe music's not for everyone. Maybe it's just something that's for some people, and some people just will never get it. And that's okay.
Yeah, and actually, I even think I remember your snarky Facebook post about this band, about this song like 5 years ago, which was still like not topical even then, since this song is actually 11 years old.
That is true. It is uniquely topical, being 11 years old. Well, interestingly, I did write down a couple of things that 2010 had in common with 2021. For instance, we were dealing with a global pandemic, the pandemic of the swine flu, and we had. Do you remember Snowmageddon?
No, I don't.
Okay,
but well, it sounds like if Bruce Willis made a sequel to Armageddon, but it was a Christmas movie, like everybody says Die Hard was.
Yes, well, it was a series of blizzards over like a 2-week period, and each of the blizzards had a different name. There was Snowmageddon, there was the Snowpocalypse. My favorite was in February of 2010. It was called Snowmageddon Snowverkill.
And then there was a Snowmachini Alfredo, because it was so white and saucy. That's probably my favorite. But yeah, so we had like a crazy snowstorm this year, at least here in Louisiana. I don't know if it was nationwide news or whatever.
Yeah, it feels like for some reason the weather patterns have just been getting wilder and wilder with time. And we're also doing the 2010 Winter Olympics.
Really? No kidding. Wow.
Yeah.
So now we got the summer-ish, Olympics-ish. And so, yeah, so maybe you're right. It's a great time to like reboot this song. So if Love Like Woe by Ready Set were like re-released, rebooted in 2021, like first off, who you getting? Who's going to be the big stars? Like the stunt casting super band singing Love Like Woe 2021. Love Like Co. virus, right?
Love Like, what would be Love
Like coronavirus, right?
Yeah,
that's a bit better. Slightly less clumsy or more so.
No. It's a perfect, like, take it out of the oven right now, because that is done. So, my ideal pick, I think, would be Harry Styles, because I think that he could really pull off that quintessential 2010 haircut that I remember.
I mean, I think he was there, right? He was there in 2010. Was he
presumably.
How old is this guy?
I mean, he may have been 10 years old, but
they were like originally a child band, right? Like this. How old was 1D? He's a 1D guy, right? One Direction.
Yeah. I don't think they were ever a child band.
They were never children. They're grown in a lab with the clone technology from every clone movie ever made.
When was One Direction a thing? No offense, Harry Styles. They were formed in 2010.
Ah,
Wow.
see, there you
Okay.
go. It's all really coming together. This is like a Slumdog Millionaire where all these little things build up for
Mm.
him to become a millionaire. This could be this song, this reboot can make $1 million. Yeah.
So before I get into what the 2010 landscape was like, what are some things that you remember about 2000? Oh no, let's talk about the song first. The song comes first,
Sure,
Roscoe.
let's finally get to it. So this is the funniest thing about this podcast is like we want to talk about linguistics, but maybe we're shy or something because we put like five steps
Oh yeah.
before you get to it. We just keep trying to build more on top of it. But I think this is kind of like it's like I think we're just kind of like dramatic geniuses, right? Because we're like building this suspense. What will they really
Mm.
say? What do they think about the
We're
song? What
really
is the song?
reinventing podcast.
I will say for me, I never heard of the song. I don't. I
Okay, that's
never
what I
heard
was
it
going to
before in my
ask you
life.
before I sent it to before I you had never heard the song before?
Never even heard the band Ready Set before. Yeah, and so I don't know. Is it a pop song even?
So my answer for this one is rooted in the fact that I was born in 1992. I graduated high
Humble
school
brag.
in 2010. And so I was really like the prime. If anybody was going to listen to the song, it's me and my graduating class.
You
Um,
danced to the song at your senior prom, I
oh
guess.
yeah, absolutely. This was playing at my senior prom, and I do not remember a lot about my senior prom. I do remember that I broke at least one wine glass to this song on accident with my elbow.
Out of
Uh,
anger, like displaced anger.
it was a very aggressive chicken dance.
Is this why you don't like this song? Oh, this is spoiler. But well, maybe you do like this song. But if you were to not like this song, would it be because actually you have this like PTSD from this elbow glass injury?
Hypothetically, if I were to hate the song with every fiber of my being, I would have hated it before prom
That's a good point. So,
night.
all right. So, um, I guess we can get into it by asking Hannah, what were your
Yes,
impressions of this song? Did you listen to it again in preparation?
I did, and it has been a couple of years until I had listened to it, since I had listened to it last. Um, for a very good reason, I think. Um, the first time I listened to it, I remember that I liked it a lot because it was a bop, and it was by one of those like super forgettable 2010s emo bands. Um,
Is it? This is the
I mean,
last thing I would describe these guys as.
oh, did you
Emo
Google them?
band. No, no, but just from listening to this one song,
Oh,
I
well,
didn't think emo
emo
at
meant
all.
like emotional, not necessarily, oh, everything's dark and I just want to die. But
Oh, see, when I think of emo, I think of like a specific genre. It's like if you say like rock music, you don't mean like any music that rocks the room or something. There's like to me, emo is like bands like I don't know, The Used, Taking Back Sunday.
Mhm.
I'll stop listening because I will be totally inaccurate on like half of them. My Chemical
Is that
Romance
another
and
band
Fall Out
thing?
Boy, I think about as emo. It's like a genre.
Ah, yes. Well, the Ready Set was in the same category as like oh god, there was this one summer anthem that I was like a huge.
Fun.
But this was like
Like I think of that. I think a little bit of that like fun, like Tonight We Are Young song when I heard this.
yeah, yeah, yeah. What is that? 303?
It's fun. The name of this band is Fun. I think they have some periods there in it. Like it's an initial.
Okay. Well, I should have done some more research on bands that I
No,
forgot
that's the point.
so much
Like
about.
it's all about like heavy research on the etymology part and really no research on the music part. You know,
On
that's our
anything
one
that's
rule.
being worthwhile, absolutely. So uh just like as a rundown of the lyrics, what are your impressions of the lyrics of Uh,
Well, I think I should say my impression until after yours because I have some thoughts that should be somehow in response to your thoughts. But I will say about the song itself, like one thing that I really felt when I was listening to this song is it's basically like the Kids Bop version of itself, right? This is like the most like music now sounds like it's for babies of anything I've heard since that like Taylor Swift and uh, the guy from maybe it was My Chemical Romance. That song they did, it was called like You or something.
I didn't know Taylor Swift did a collaboration.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Anyway, so I mean, it's like it's just so like soft and it sounds so like kind of just like something you would sing to like a 3-year-old in like a preschool class where they all have to like clap or like turn around, something like this. It's like the hokey pokey of our generation to me
I agree. A lot of
that
it
talks
means
about drugs.
absolutely nothing. And I think that's a big reason that I liked it when I was a kid. And I'll clarify. I liked it the first time I heard it. And then I read the lyrics because that's how I usually listen to music is I listen to the music to see if I like it. Then I read the lyrics, see if there's anything like I could hate about it because I don't really process lyrics after listening to them.
You want to
Uh,
make sure there's nothing that would like if you said you like that song, then people would think you're a bad person. Like, make sure there's no
That's a
like
little bit of it. Yeah. I don't want to like any songs that get me canceled.
right? Yeah, it's like you really like that Eminem Rihanna song until you realize that it's like about like spousal abuse or whatever it's about.
Oh, dude. Oh, no, Rihanna, why?
But no, it's like yeah, but it's more like Eminem. Why? It's like he's this one artist that has this power to like normalize any like crazy problematic thing. You know, like
Yeah.
Eminem gets a pass on everything. I'm not complaining about it. I'm just saying that's the way it is. It is what it is. You know.
You know, he was born on the same day as my father, and my
Did you
dad has
know?
always lived in Eminem's shadow.
Wow, that's so amazing. But did you know that Eminem is like 1 year younger than Snoop Dogg? It's like they seem like totally different generations, you know?
Yeah.
Really wild.
Weird. I put Snoop Dogg in the same generation as Martha Stewart.
Yeah, I'm sure that's true too. I guess Eminem could be right there alongside her and same uh
Martha
watch
Stewart's
this thing to
definitely older than my dad.
seems like it. Seems like I've
Yeah.
met your dad and he doesn't have this same kind of like voice where it sounds like they're like talking inward into their own body like
Oh,
the voice
yes.
that Martha Stewart shares with that one villain from Avengers Infinity War.
Ooh.
But I was gonna say something like the other thing I was thinking on this topic of like it sounds like a song made for children in like a kindergarten is like it has this part where they make like a kind of like a oh or something like that. And I think this has to be there for it to be a pop song. Like with you take this out, there's nothing there to make you think, okay, I'm listening to like a contemporary kind of rocky, poppy song, you
Oh.
know? And it's like this is actually I think it's in a lot of songs. It's kind of like you do some kind of an O and then you go up like an octave or a fifth and then you go back
Mm.
down, you know?
Whoa, oh, whoa,
Yeah,
whoa.
sure. Yeah. Or
That's
it's like what was that like California Girls or something by Katy Perry where she's like, "Whoa, whoa." Something like
oh,
that.
whoa, whoa. Okay, you know what? We could probably do a whole episode on the
No,
different
that we can't.
variations
It's
of
already
whoa,
exists
whoa,
somewhere. I
whoa, whoa,
remember reading
whoa.
about this on the internet like 20 years ago or something. So, probably in 2010 when this came out.
Probably
Yeah.
there was a lot of woes. Speaking
Yeah.
of woes, that's the reason that I only liked it the first time because I thought that when he said it was a love like woe, he was indicating WOAH. You know,
Mhm.
like whoa.
Like a real Bill and Ted love experience, right?
Yes, a real Bill and
Real
Ted.
Keanu Reeves.
Oh my god. It's all coming back to Keanu Reeves. desperately disappointed in myself. So I had assumed that it was a love like whoa, or a love like whoa, or a love
or a love
like
like whoa.
whoa. Because if you look at the rest of the lyrics, you're indicating something that's very tumultuous, something that's a very up and down relationship. Perhaps if it was a ride, it would be a roller coaster.
Uh-huh. And Hannah, I'm just curious, are you equally angry that the classic 80s song bow bow is not about like a buddy cop relationship between a dog and a chicken?
Oh my God, why can't you write all of these musics? Russell, go back in time and make that song about that.
It's like if you were a Weird Al, but a Weird Al that didn't really change the lyrics, just change the intention of the lyrics. And that's your whole stick. You sing the same song, but you're like, but when I sing it, it's about this.
If it hasn't been done before, then it should be.
Who's to say it hasn't really? How would you know it had even been done? But anyway, so Love Like Woe, and so
it's actually spelled WOE.
Right. Okay.
Now WOE, I don't know if you know this, Russell. According to the Webster's Dictionary, which is a sin I know is a podcasting sin.
Yeah, Speech 101, you always mention the dictionary definition of whatever you're talking about.
It's etymology. What do you want me to do? Woe, WOE, indicates great sorrow or distress. It's meant to convey more of a melancholic feeling. There is nothing in this song that indicates any degree of melancholy whatsoever. Just for fun, what do you suppose the etymology of the word woe is?
Okay, that's a really great question. So it's like, so we know it's somehow connected to like sadness or something now. And like we talked about last time in our Lost Forever Secret first episode, this is actually episode 2. Any listeners who are keeping count.
Episode 2, the pilot.
Yeah, episode 2, the pilot. Yeah. Sounds like a low budget sci-fi movie. And like eventually we'll release episode 1 on the Patreon that we'll eventually have, and like listeners will be able to just fill in your part. So I'll be talking, and then it's like a create your own podcast adventure.
Oh, like a fill in the
they'll say what you say.
Oh, choose your own adventure.
Totally.
I love that. I absolutely love that.
But gosh, what was I even thinking? Okay, so woe. What could it possibly? So of course we have other words from woe, like woeful, and perhaps that's the only one. But woe itself, I think if it's from anything, maybe it could be kind of from something like vox for voice, and then have some connection like you're making some like wailing sounds, so somehow they're connected there. But I suspect just like a word like oh or ho, or even I heard recently that in many languages there's a word like so that oftentimes begins things people say, right? Just like we do in English sometimes, but it just seems to be there because like it's just a sound that people like to make at the start of stuff, and it eventually becomes a word. But I think woe, maybe it's something like this. It's a little bit onomatopoeia-ish or something. I don't know.
Onomatopoetic.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
Which is a fun word to say. Okay, hang on just a second. Let me let the prince in again. Okay, but keep your mouth shut, okay? Thank God, Frank. So your instincts are pretty darn good as far as the origins of woe. It is onomatopoetic. It is it's an exclamation from the Old Germanic and Middle English. Wah!
So are you saying this is like a Wario Waluigi type
That's
situation?
exactly what I am saying. I am saying that according to the etymology of the word woe, which is based in Middle English and Old Germanic, woe comes from the Old Middle English wah, which is a natural exclamation of lament.
Sure, it's like Wario is some kind of time lord, like skipping through time and influencing the timeline. He's a real Loki type,
Concept Warioki.
Wah Loki, I think. Whoa Loki, Woki,
Ooh.
Woki, Woki. That's it.
Yes, Wokioki. I love it. Okay.
Okay, so it's kind of just generally like a sound, like saying like "ew" or "ah" or "wow" or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a natural exclamation that you, ah, wow, you know. So
As
I'm
is
looking.
"whoa." I mean, as is WHOA, which that's another really. I think that's another really difficult debate that I feel it's a little frictiony to bring it up, but we're kind of on the opposite sides of that because I couldn't help but notice earlier you said WOAH.
Yes, I did say that.
Which I'm of the opinion it should be WHOA.
Oh, this is what happens when two etymology nerds collide.
So
Hey,
I don't know. I think this is one of these things we should just put it aside and never speak of it because otherwise I think it'll probably like just tear our
if you
friendship
tell me
apart.
that you're in favor of the Oxford comma, I am breaking up with you.
I have no opinions about the Oxford comma.
Really?
Zero.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyways, but yeah, so it's interesting because of course then that means that woe is in and woe is in what? They're kind of the same thing, right? They're both just kind of these kind of natural verbalizations that started out as being not actual words. So in some sense, maybe it is the same word.
Okay, I might be coming back round on this, but if the Ready Set looks anything like my depiction of the Ready Set when I listen to the song again, because I did do a drawing of who I think the Ready Set looks like.
The whole band or one person? You think the Ready Set is one guy?
Yeah, like there's the
sense.
Weekend, there's
Sure.
the Ready Set.
Sure, yeah. Makes a lot of sense.
As you can see.
Yeah, okay. Okay, yeah, I got some vibe like that for sure.
Yeah.
He looks very scene kid-esque.
Yeah, this is what I remember everybody wearing in high school. I couldn't remember actually if 2010 was when people started wearing the really tight jeans or if they were still into like the pants that touch the ground. So I gave them both.
I think it was tight jeans. Because I think now, in some ways, we're a bit out of it. This is more for a fashion contest podcast. But I think we're past it. So I think it must have been 2010 zero.
I do have I'm very confident that the Ready Set wore fingerless gloves.
Yeah, yeah. I feel that. You can really hear them in the song. You can hear how free those fingers
aspect in early emo music that I can really appreciate. So, real quick, name a woeful weather.
Woeful weather?
Uh-huh.
That's like if it's like gray, like dreary, right?
Any woeful weather. Gray, dreary. If you said that something was that the weather pattern was woeful or like woe.
Yeah, like a snowstorm or something, I guess.
Okay. That's a good answer.
You think the song is about Snowmageddon?
No, it's not. But it is about, quote, a pretty little windstorm on the boulevard.
Yeah, I heard that. I saw that. Yeah. Right.
Also, perhaps a hurricane?
It's also about a pretty sweet pill that he takes to avoid an addiction, but also because it's a superstition of his to take this. This was the part that really I had the hardest time trying to even give him the benefit of the doubt that this had any kind of connection to the reality that we live in,
So could it be that his attraction to this girl is a placebo effect?
Maybe, or maybe it's like aren't there these countries where if you're addicted to heroin, you go to a government facility and they give you like, I want to say fentanyl, but fentanyl still sounds too extreme. But there's some like synthetic they give you, right?
They do like a methadone clinic. Do you mean?
Yeah, it must be methadone. Yeah. So
Uh-huh.
maybe this is a song about like a heroin addiction, not really a woman at all. And then he's like talking about, he gets methadone instead.
If we had like the rights to certain sound clips at this point, we would play the sound clip from Twilight, wherein Edward confesses that Bella is his own personal brand of heroin.
Yeah.
It turns out that
Edward Cullen, also a famous former heroin addict.
It turns out that a lot of love songs are kind of, and love like comparisons are pretty drug addled.
Yeah, and that's one thing that really I think about a lot is, it's like it there's of course there's a lot of like, of course, drinking in songs and smoking weed and even some like coke use and stuff, but something about the pill use I always feel kind of advertised to. It's just weird to talk specifically about some pill. It's like Gunna, this rapper, he's always talking about Adderall, and it's like, why is that like a brag drug to talk about Adderall?
Weird
That's a
flex,
very
but okay.
strange thing. Yeah, I mean, it's like, okay, you need some kind of help to be productive, I guess. I mean, that's a little sad for you that you're dependent on that, but
I mean, there's nothing saying that like if you need Adderall to control your ADHD or to make like your if you like legitimately need Adderall, mm, I'm sure that.
yeah, I guess you can also be a rapper or whatever, but it's like it really seems like a promotional message a lot of times. Like he's saying it's
Does
like a
he actually
pretty
say
sweet
Adderall?
pill. Oh yeah, yeah. Well, he
Okay,
says
well
Addy. Okay, fair enough. He says Addy. It would
okay,
be a little weird if he said Adderall. Sure.
no, because it's like America is the only country that actually advertises medication. Like you're not gonna go to Great Britain and get like 2 minute long Cialis commercials, or you're not gonna go to Canada and get like freaking bombarded with Tylenol commercials. It's just not something that other countries do.
It's true. You think it's like you know, Adam Ruins Everything did that episode about how like breakfast. No, it was what's the John Oliver one? Last week tonight, weekly
Last week,
update. There you go.
yes.
Something with week. Um, everybody but us knows what this called already, so it doesn't matter. He was talking about how like breakfast was something that like the pork industry and the dairy and egg industry kind of like manufactured this idea that you have to have this big breakfast, and then it became, of course, a part of culture and everything, and it's in like art and stuff. In art, that famous Picasso painting of a breakfast. But
Picasso's The McMuffin.
I would love it. It's just
I'm
a
loving it too.
cute. Yeah, I would Nick love it. um, but I lost my train of thought a little bit.
Breakfast is propaganda.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course it's propaganda, but it's like one of these things where it finds its way into just normal culture in a way that kind of imitates the same, like very insistent
How
messaging of
weird
the
is
commercials.
capitalism, man? Jeez.
Yeah, so like, anyways, I guess we're pretty far off topic now. So I'll talk about the elephant in the room, which is that I think that reading the lyrics of this song, I could see an argument for this double meaning of woe, because he's talking about, like you say, the windstorm. He talks about like an addiction. He talks about something like getting run over by a car or something like
Yeah, but
that.
none of that is melancholic.
It's woeful in that it's like some distressing situation, right?
I mean, I suppose, but contemporary usage of the word woe is almost universally melancholic. Woe is me. Woe betides you. Woe is.
I think it's like, to me, it feels a little like it's about suffering, right?
Okay, and there could be a sort of a more biblical explanation for that. That is a very Jobish. Uh,
Yeah, I guess so. It's true. Joe seemed to be in a state of woe, but yeah,
it
and
was a very tumultuous couple of months.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, and but I mean, I think that's I don't know that that meaning is really gotten across. Like, I don't think it's an effective play on words. I
No,
guess I would
I'll
say
tell you what I think it
not
is. What I'm
effectively communicated.
pretty
Let's say.
sure it is. I think it's a dude who is like, "Oh man, look, whoa sounds like whoa.
Yeah,
That
sure.
make it like so deep, right,
I think
dude?"
it's really true. I mean, I think that is basically it. I mean, it's like this kind of thing in a lot of pop culture type stuff where you change it a little, make it a little wrong or a little weird just to stand out. But like the
Mhm.
first thing that came to my mind actually is not really the same thing, but there's this Drake song Hotline Bling, like
Yes.
Bling. And of course he's saying like blink, this
What
is what he
cometh to
intends by this
me?
word, but it's more fun, more interesting, more referential to the culture and the language. If you say bling, it kind of stands out. Yeah, I think it's the same kind of strategy.
I see. I see. Now,
It,
I do know that song because of the meme.
mhm.
And uh, that's it. End of reasons I know that song. But I did when you were talking about what you wanted to research. You did hint a little bit at something called an eggcorn,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I'm
sure.
dying to hear what an eggcorn is.
Right. So as often happens, I think I do research in the wrong direction because it's like I start with this idea that there is something that I want to find, and then I look, and oftentimes I don't find exactly what I'm looking for. And so on this, I was thinking about how there's you could imagine a case where woe might over time replace this other spelling of woe, especially since of course WOE much simpler, much
Mhm.
easier to understand and spell.
And of course, doesn't have the variation between WHOA and WOAH.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like avoids this whole trick here. And you see that a little bit in the history of words and some kind of boring ones. Like, for instance, sneak, and then is the past tense sneaked or is it snuck? Well, actually, it depends on who you ask. But in contemporary English and style guides, usually people will say snuck. And,
Mm-hmm.
it looks like in some way this was I'm trying to think if there's any similar example, but not so much. But this one is actually an interesting example because usually words go in the other direction. Usually words that are irregular verbs, over time they're more likely to become regular, right? So
Sure.
but sometimes it happens the other way too, depending on are there similar words around them, right?
Okay.
So that's one form. It's something called solecism, but actually solecism is whenever it's still wrong. And I may have just mispronounced that a little bit. A little disclaimer: no one get too angry at me. But like an eggcorn, this is a whole nother thing where you hear something, sometimes a song lyric, but could be anything else, and you mishear the exact thing you heard, and so you say something that's a little different. Usually, these are like funny things or something, but they may like make more sense. They may be just kind of little variations or something like that. So like for instance, one of the ones that I think is pretty close to becoming more or less a accepted version, and probably the old one will eventually fall away, is butt naked. you know of course the
Oh,
original the original is of course what?
buck
Buck
naked, isn't it?
naked. Sure. But this idea of being buck naked, what does it mean in our modern concept of the word buck? Not so
Mm.
much. Used to have a meaning something like completely or something. But butt naked, of course, seems intuitively to make sense, right? It's somehow, like, I guess, your butt showing, or just using the butt for the
If you
emphasis in the
are
same way we
butt
would say like
naked, then your
ass or
butt is
something, right?
showing. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that
So
makes a lot of sense.
yeah, so this is one example of an eggcorn that maybe is starting to completely replace, already has some dominance in the culture, right?
Mhm.
But some other ones that are maybe less, like, more funny and less likely to really have any kind of functional impact on the language, right? There's this famous one from that Credence Clearwater Revival song. He says,
CCR.
you apparently are more passionate about them than I am. He says, hate classic rock, by the other hand. Just don't care for it at all. Um, he says, there's a bad moon on the rise. And famously, people mishear this as, there's a bathroom on the right, right? I don't know if you've heard this before. And other ones, for instance, like chicken pox, of course, many people, as a child, I remember I thought it was chicken spots. Makes way more sense. Um, Another one, dog eat dog world. I have trouble believing anyone actually makes this mistake, but some people claim to have heard doggy dog world, like doggy dog world,
Yeah,
things like that. So that's
I was convinced that it was a doggy dog world for the first freaking 20 years of my life.
but what would that be? What
Are you
exactly would
kidding?
they be
In the
trying to
best world
convey?
possible,
Yeah,
a
but that
doggy
doesn't really
dog
seem
world?
like, people seem pretty like cynical when they say it's a doggy dog world. So
I always when I
match the
thought that it was a
message.
doggy dog world, I always assumed that it's like, oh, cheer up, me. There's lots of dogs here.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you're saying, like, you say something bad and they reply, "It's a doggy dog world," and you thought they were trying to cheer you up. They're like
Yeah,
saying, "At least it's a doggy dog world, right?
yeah, yeah.
At least
There's
we're not
no
living in
other
the."
planet in this entire solar system that you could be born on that has dogs.
That makes great sense. That makes
Mhm.
great sense. One of the so I'm kind of talking about things that, for me, of course, they're not exactly eggcorns, because eggcorns is this very specific thing where you usually hear something in a song or something and you misinterpret it in kind of a funny way. But to me, it's a subcategory of solecism, or even, as you said, malapropism, where
Mhm.
there's some misunderstanding of a word, or simply saying the wrong word, wrong grammar, whatever, that eventually, and this is not included in the idea of a solecism, eventually it becomes right, right? So,
Mhm.
so one I found, and this one is actually controversial because I don't see. This is my opinion. This is my feeling about it. Not exactly what is explicitly stated in the research, like the word aggravated. So the word aggravated, this root here is grav, from
Mhm.
gravity, from grave. This means like heavy, right?
Right.
So aggravated means something like burdened, actually, right? But generally now we use it to mean something like irritated, a word coming from ear, from ire, for to make someone angry, right?
To aggravate my allergies,
Sure.
to
Yeah.
aggravate my sister,
Yeah,
to
yeah, it's like to stir it up, to make it inflamed, angry. Much different from this idea of just like weighing someone down, which would be, even in a figurative sense, it would be something more closer to like to worry somebody, right?
Mhm.
So, my opinion of how this change happened is that, of course, we have a word like aggression, you know, which really does give this sense of like to become angry, more attackful towards someone, something, right? And so,
Mhm.
because of this kind of like false friends relationship of one word being real close to another, and that meaning being not so hard to get to on the side
Ah,
there, you have this kind of transference, you know.
that makes an awful lot of sense.
But
Okay.
I don't know. But that's the kind of idea I had when I was thinking about this word "whoa," because
It is
it's
aggravating.
very close in terms of spelling, in terms of sound. Of course, it's the same, and they're both expressing some kind of like extreme feeling about something like that.
So your argument is that the Ready Set was a band ahead of its time.
Yeah, I think so. I'll just give you a few more, but I'll give it kind of rapid fire.
Yeah.
Less and fewer. Of course, I think probably we
I
know
will die on
this
the
difference,
hill that
but
less and fewer is a distinct difference. If
exactly.
you use less when you mean fewer, then you need to go back to primary school.
What? I can't tell at this point. Are you for or against the distinction?
I am absolutely for the distinction.
For the
Words mean
distinction.
things, Russell. Hang on just a second.
Sure. She's left the podcast.
We're such a whiny. Sorry, Frankie decided that he wanted to go outside and then he wanted to come inside, and he's outside now, but
I know you just needed the time to cool off. We got a little angry about it.
It's so aggravating.
But of course, we see fewer disappearing, and I think that even though less is, of course, wrong on some level, I think eventually that will be right. I think that'll be the correct one, And so this is the kind of thing I think happens, and a lot of times when you have words that they either have a similar place or they have a similar meaning, like enormity means like some very extremely bad problem, right?
Yes.
The enormity of their offense or something. But of course, we use it to mean like very big, right? Because it seems a little like enormous, sure. Ironic, a word that famously has lost its original intention here. I think honestly, because it's really confusing.
We'll have to cover that.
It's very hard to understand. Lay. So this word lie, right? We still say lie down, right? Sometimes. We don't always. A lot of people say lay down, and it's fine. We totally understand what they mean. But what is the past tense of lie? Yesterday I...
Oh, yesterday I lied?
Lay. L-A-Y. Has completely disappeared, right? What is the present, what is the participle, right? I have always blank here in the same bed.
Okay. All right. Now I feel dumb.
Sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
No, tee me up again. I got it.
What is the past participle of lie, as in to sleep?
Lane.
Yes, perfect.
Yes!
Exactly right. But I have never in my life heard anyone say I have lain, right? So we completely got rid of it because it's just a little weird. It's a little different. So even though we still keep lie, as in I lie here, whatever, as I lie dying, whatever. He has strong opinions about lie versus lay. It makes sense. Dogs, you tell dogs to lay down all the time. So
you should let sleeping dogs lie.
That's true. He loves it. So these are the sort of things I'm talking about where it's like the language gets kind of a little bit simplified, I suppose, in some ways through incorrect, translation or not translation, but incorrect use. Loan, of course, famously used as a verb whenever we already have a verb lend, which means the same thing. But lend, of course, it's still used, but not so much. Moot point, an interesting one. In British English, a moot point means something that is worth debating. That's right. I said a moot point is something that is worth debating.
Really?
Yeah. In United States English, of course, it means something that's not worth debating.
It means the opposite of that.
Yeah. So this is some change in the meaning of this that, at least for us here in America, I haven't asked anybody in Britain. For us, this is now the accepted meaning, right? Even though it's wrong.
So I wonder if that song Jesse's Girl means something totally different in Great Britain.
Is there a moot point in Jesse's Girl?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Bringing it back to music. All right, Hannah.
But the point is probably moot.
Aha. Well, maybe he means the point is worth debating.
Oh,
maybe he intends it.
Maybe it's a more proactive song in the UK.
Okay. Yeah, just the song just means something different there. Okay, so I know you took a look at some like slang and words that are characteristic of the 2010. So
yes.
What did you find there?
I would like to give you a pop quiz.
Why are you testing me on my fun podcast?
Because if you are wrong, it's really funny.
I really just reached for paper, like I'm gonna have to do some scratch work or something. But okay, let's hear it. I'm ready.
Okay, so the following words are words that that either became popular in the 2000s, which I can't decide if we're calling it the 2000s, the aughts, or the noughties.
Definitely not the naughties. I like aughts.
I like aughts too. I kind of do.
I don't know if it's really catching on though, but I had to admit myself, I still just say the 2000s, like a jerk.
Yeah, just like when you're reading it, you just automatically.
It's just too hard. It's like trying to invent. It's like trying to introduce your own slang, but we're trying to do it as a country, right? Trying to coin some expression for this, but we all feel a little weird to be like amongst the first ones to do it, you know.
So the UK has definitively decided that it's the naughties.
I don't care for the British either. I don't like classic rock. I don't like British people. It's just who I am.
Oh, we're not going to be able to cover the Beatles. So the following slang was either coined in the 2000s or in the 2010s.
Okay, let's hear it.
Or the teens. And I want you to guess. Mm-hmm. Number 1, the shit.
I think this has been with us for a long time. I'm going to say the 2000s.
That is correct.
And it blows my mind that it's not even older. All right, next one.
Yeah, that's right. It was coined in the early aughts.
Amazing.
How about off the chain?
I think also aughts.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you were alive during the aughts. How about bromance?
The 2010s, the teens.
Ooh, what was your first experience with the word bromance? How did you know that was in the teens?
It's weird because I feel like everyone heard it for the first time whenever they made that movie about it, which was, I believe it was Paul Rudd was looking for a best friend, and he found Jason Segel, this guy from How I Met Your Mother. You know?
Oh, right.
And I don't know if it was, it's called like I Love You Bro or something.
I think it's I Love You Man.
No, I think that's a different movie, but you might be right. I don't know. No, you're probably right. I Love You Bro would be a whole different movie with like Zac Efron.
Bratty kind of.
Zac Efron would be like in the movie twice. He would be both sides of the bromance.
The double Zac. And it would come out in the 2010s. How about I Carumba?
That's like 1990s.
It was actually coined in the aughts.
No way. There's no way.
Yeah.
Because it's The Simpsons. Bart used to say it like a super long time.
The Simpsons didn't say it until the aughts.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Amazing. Wow.
As well as Eat My Shorts, which I did not put on this.
Also the aughts?
Yeah.
Jeez, that's insane. Wow.
How about catfish?
I think I heard once that that's actually an incredibly old expression, like pre-internet. But that's what I heard, but I don't know. I heard that from another podcast that's not as reputable as ours. So.
So I have catfish was coined in the teens, actually, when the internet started becoming a thing. A lot of the teen slang was where you really start to get internet slang.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like you would assume it would correlate to online dating, right? Because I mean, this is its main application. Okay, what else you got?
Vom.
Vom? Mm-hmm. As in short for vomit?
Yeah.
I think that never caught on. We're still waiting. 2022.
You are not friends with a lot of mean girls.
No, definitely not.
No, that was actually coined in the teens.
Okay. And I don't believe you, but fine.
Okay, how about as if?
Again, super old. No, I think that's not from where you think it is, because isn't that in like Clueless? Don't they say as if?
Yeah, Clueless came out in the aughts.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow. It's like I'm finding out I'm younger than I thought I was. Most of the time people were like, no way, that's 30 years old. But for me, it's like the other direction. Okay. Got anything
one
else?
direction, the other direction. I'm going to Google, when did Clueless come out? I'm pretty sure it was like 2010. Oh, 95.
Ha.
Oh, you're right.
Okay, so let's hear it, because we got to roll through the rest of the things we got. So what else you got?
Meet cute.
To the aughts.
That's actually the teens.
It's no way. It's that word was around way before.
Not MEAT cute, MEET cute.
Oh, okay.
And you had, and the last one that I have is cool beans.
No, that word's way older than any. But I suppose you could be talking about like when they become like super popular.
Yeah,
Or something.
super
Then,
popular.
Okay, fair enough.
There was a little bit of resurgence of 80s cultures in the aughts.
Okay, fair enough. So let me roll through like rapid fire, truly rapid fire this time, a list of the words that I saw that were slang for 2010s. And then I
Yes.
will give you the one slang word that I found that's from the year 2010 itself, the year that the song was released. And maybe you can figure it out through process of elimination. Let's see. So adulting, flex,
Ooh.
lit, low key and high key, shook, fam, bromance, which you already said, thirsty, shade, mood, and bay, all allegedly from this teens era.
Yes.
Now, so what? And it's probably not too easy to get, but maybe what word? It's not actually a word. That'll be a good hint for you. Came from the year 2010. First
okay.
arose.
All right. I was listening. So I want to say bromance because my research also.
Oh, sorry. I should mention it's not one of the ones I just mentioned.
Oh, it's not one of the ones.
No, but I'll give you another hint. Then it's initials.
Initials. I C Y M.
No, too many. It's two initials. Two letters.
Two initials.
Two letters.
YOLO.
2 letters.
Shit. I'm bad at this now. JK.
AF.
Ooh, that originated in the
2010. According to a random website on the internet. Yes.
Ooh, well, that is definitely interesting AF.
Sure. Okay, so let's say final thoughts on Love Like Woe. Do you like it? Would you listen to it again? Does it have any place in your rotation?
Now that I have come to terms with my pedanticness and the fact that, like, it's okay that some people don't like music. It's fine. No, absolutely not. I never want to hear the song again as long as I live, and it's a very good reason that I am not going to my high school reunions because they play music from the 2010s at high school reunions, and I just don't have it in me, Russ.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say that I would somehow try to avoid it. I would not go out of my way to avoid this song, as I would like Led Zeppelin or something.
If at a wedding, if you were at a wedding and this song came on, would you dance?
Would I dance? Probably no. I mean, but that's a very specific context where the only dances I do at a wedding are the square dances, the electric slide, and the Cupid shuffle. Because everything else, I'm too sober. It's just too risky. I don't want. And there's so much photography going on at a wedding. You know, it's like if you do something that looks really bad, then it's like you're in that person's wedding doing that thing forever. You know. And what if you cause like a 100-person pile up of dancing, you know, and like 5 people
That
die.
is irresponsible dancing, and I relate to it.
Yeah. So no, I would not dance to this song at a wedding. But if it came on at a bar and I had already started dancing because I heard another song that was good, yeah, I could see I might continue to dance. I don't think I would stop.
It would not cause you to vacate the dance floor.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I think I would never listen to the song again on purpose just because it's just an incredibly boring song. Like, even the song on our mythical first episode, it's kind of nice. Like maybe it's because it's made in the common era, and so it sounds kind of modern and contemporary. But it has a nice sound to it. It has some kind of a hook feeling to it. This song is just nothing. It sounds like a fake song that someone would make for a TV show, like a no rights song, like something you would get if you downloaded like a video editing app and it came with some free songs. Like this seems like one of those.
Ouch. Ouch. I mean, I know that I hated it, but that was cold, man.
So we don't only talk about a song and also language on this podcast. We also have a segment where we talk just a little bit about Eurovision, something we know even less about. And who was our Eurovision, let's say, artist, musician, star this week?
Well, you did the research on it, and I'm dying to hear how you pronounce his name.
Well, I did look into it enough to know, more or less, although it's still a little confusing because I believe it's Dathi, but it may be Dathi with a heavier voiced sound.
Softer TH sound, but I'm sure if you go to any Icelander and say, hey, what do you think of Dadi Freyr? I'm sure they'll be like, he's aces, you dude.
I do enjoy saying Dadi Freyr, though. It's
okay, let's go Daddy then.
Makes it sound very like he's like someone who would come on the Pitbull Sirius radio station, you know.
Ooh.
Next up, we got Dadi Freyr with Shakira and Daddy Yankee.
Now, that is almost entirely ridiculous because even though his Eurovision song this year was a collaboration with a different band, it's really hard to imagine like any band that isn't exactly like Dadi Freyr like collaborating.
You're very right. Yeah, it's hard to imagine who could he be with. Like it's like if he became a popular American, like he got onto the American radio play, like always they add in a rap feature now. Oh, yeah. And so it is really hard to imagine, okay, what rapper do you put with Dadi Freyr, who...
Megan Thee Stallion.
I don't think they really work together, but I would certainly listen to it many, many times. And it has the great, like, it's so, like, shocking, you know, it's like such a weird juxtaposition that it somehow sticks with you. I like it. Let's do it. Let's do it. So
you know who would,
you contact Megan Thee Stallion. I'll contact Dadi Freyr. Which that's another one is like, and coming back to the like words, talking about words part of the podcast is, do you think anyone ever told Megan that a stallion is a male horse?
Oh, I'm sure. I think it's she's a very open and outspoken advocate for LGBTQ rights.
You think? So you think it's like activism?
My impression for somebody that knows very, very little about the rap world, if I had to guess, Megan Thee Stallion, and I saw her on SNL one time, and that's my experience with Megan Thee Stallion, is that she's talking about butch lesbians.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. I see. Yeah, it could be. You could be right. That's a great point. Yeah, very, very good. So I didn't give her enough credit. I just assumed she was somehow like, I don't want to say something that sounds mean. So I assumed she was mistaken about her own choice of name. But yeah, that makes way more sense. I think you're really probably right. Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. So one thing I was looked briefly into. So this symbol here is called eth, right? ETH, right? Uh-huh. And so in English, of course, we just have the one TH written out for two sounds, the eth, which is the soft one, and the theta, which is the harder one, the. Theta looks like a circle with a line through it.
So it's weather and thought.
Yeah, sure. Weather is the voiced one, like a theta. Thought is the soft one, like a F.
Right? Weather has an F sound.
So I didn't do a lot of research into it because we don't have a lot of time for that, but just interesting to note. So the main languages this shows up in is, of course, English, from Old English to Middle English, Icelandic, as we know, Faroese. I don't know that word, so I won't try to say it again.
The Faroes Islands, they are an area in Scandinavia. I think.
Yeah, and Scandinavia as well. Mm-hmm. So that makes sense. It was in Greek, but it was not in Latin. So it was something that didn't really make that trip into Latin. So this is why most of the Romance languages are without it, and why if you're like a Spanish speaker or something, it gives you a lot of trouble, right?
So let me ask you, because I know that we both were big fans of 10 Years by Dadi Freyr, which was his Eurovision song this year. What does this song tell you about living life in Iceland? Like, if you had to guess,
I think
just from the context of this song and this music video and everybody wearing shirts with their pixelated faces on
to
them.
me it suggests that they are, as Camille Nanjiani terms it in his podcast, indoor kids, right? They seem to spend a lot of time in their room doing like inside activities, like messing around with their computers and their video games and stuff. Because he really has this real, like, I guess it's this coziness that's kind of famous for this area, right? But kind of applied to like just doing nerdy stuff on your computers, right?
Yeah. Okay. I like that.
So I have to ask, so this this song from I forget which song I did. It was, I believe it was the first one, the one from last year. Not this one, not the 10 Days song, but the previous one.
Hang on.
In these, so let me see. So in English, the song is about the arrival of Dadi Freyr's baby daughter.
Aww.
In Icelandic, the lyrics mean something completely different. It's totally different song lyrics. So, of these four options, can you tell me which one is the real original Icelandic lyrics of the song?
Yes.
Okay. So, is it A, cell phone data plans in Iceland as a clever metaphor for romance?
Okay.
Is it B, a band from outer space coming to save the world by teaching them a new dance?
Ooh.
Is it C, the time he pretended to be his lesbian friend's boyfriend at a dinner with her father?
Okay.
Is it D, the misconceptions and confusion between Iceland and Greenland?
Ooh, okay. Having seen 10 Years and a little bit, and the Eurovision presentation, I'm gonna go with B.
You're right.
Yes!
It was about
a genius.
A band from outer space coming to save the world by teaching them a new dance.
That's like Space Jam.
Okay, so I have one more, let's say, quiz for you. So I don't know if you know this, but Dadi Freyr, I'm sorry, I shouldn't intentionally mispronounce someone's own name. It's incredibly rude. Dadi Freyr, let's say, he's a actually distinctly tall person. I don't know if you noticed from the videos. So I have a list here of other famous people, and I think probably at least one thing or something. And I want you to tell me, is Dadi Freyr taller or shorter than this person?
Okay, yeah. This is fun.
The Rock Dwayne Johnson. Is Dadi Freyr taller or shorter?
Shoot, I'm gonna go taller.
Dadi Freyr is taller. I'm not gonna tell you. Oh shoot! I have to wait till the end to tell you the rest, though.
Okay, yeah.
Otherwise, it will kind of, you'll get clues as you go, right? So Michael Jordan, is Dadi Freyr taller or shorter?
I'm gonna say Dadi is shorter than Michael Jordan.
Scottie Pippen, is Dadi Freyr taller or shorter?
Is Scottie Pippen like the weirdly tall one or the weirdly short one?
I honestly don't know who Scottie Pippen is. I just know he's a person.
I'm gonna say that Dadi Freyr is taller than Scottie Pippen. That's how much I know about basketball. End of list of things I know about basketball.
Okay. Okay. Rhett McLaughlin from Good Mythical Morning. Is Dadi Freyr taller or shorter?
I have no idea who that is.
Okay, so just make a random guess.
Shorter.
Taylor Swift. Is Dadi Freyr taller or shorter?
Is she wearing heels?
Let me see.
Yes. She is wearing heels?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Shoot. Dadi Freyr still got to be taller than her.
Okay. Brienne of Tarth, the fictional character. Is she taller or shorter?
Okay, so Gwyneth Christie, I think, is like 6'2", I think. So Dothy's taller than her.
Okay. You know her height very specifically, weirdly enough.
I think she's the same height as my mom.
Wow, I didn't ever know you had a tall mom. Pete Davidson, the kind of the weird comedian on Saturday Night Live. Pete Davidson.
Ooh, how tall is Pete Davidson? I'm gonna say Dobby's taller.
Okay, and I have many, many more. Kid Laroi is Dadi Freyr taller or shorter?
Kid Laroi? Isn't he like a kid? He's like. I'll say Dothy's way taller than Kid Laroi. Yeah, go Dothy!
Okay, so actually you did really well. So I'll tell you, Dadi Freyr is taller than The Rock. He is actually taller than Michael Jordan by 2 inches.
Really?
He is actually not taller than Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen turns out to be even taller than Michael Jordan, whoever Scottie Pippen might be. Rhett McLaughlin, he is taller than Rhett McLaughlin, taller than Taylor Swift, of course, taller than Brienne of Tarth, taller than Pete Davidson, and yes, much, much taller than Kid Laroi, who is actually only 5'7". Dadi Freyr himself is 6 feet 8 inches tall.
6'8"?
6'8", yeah.
Oh, that is a tall Icelandic. That is somebody who comes from Viking stock for sure.
True. Okay, so to close the podcast, maybe we'll stick with the tradition of last time. So actually, we'll say this. So we were talking about a rap feature on the Dadi Freyr song. So what Pokemon do you think would do the rap feature for Love Like Woe?
Ooh, Love Like Woe, but rap. So it's got to be definitely something from Gen 1. Something that thinks that it's edgy, but really isn't. Clefairy.
I'm pretty sure you said like Jigglypuff last time, which is basically the same Pokemon, but it doesn't matter because last episode does not exist, so you still win. You won the quiz. You won everything. You're today's big winner, Hannah. Thank you very much for joining us here on Pop Etymology.
And we will see you for the next episode, but depending on when that is.
Absolutely. We'll be there. Hope you will be too. Good night, everybody.
Have a great night.